this is my abs exercise tier list. Let's see which exercises are the best for getting those shredded looking abs. Before we get into the exercises, I gotta tell you a very important thing about training abs. You need to forget about all those 5-minute ab routines or get abs in 30 days BS. The information about ab training on the internet has been so extremely diluted. Your abs are a body part like any other. Would you do a 5-minute chest routine to get a big chest? Obviously not. That's ridiculous. So why are you falling for the same trap when it comes to abs? You build your abs by progressively overloading them and by going to failure. Not by doing a 5-minute cardio session where you flap around like a fish out of the water. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the exercises. I will start by going over all the sit-up variations. First up is the classic sit-up. This is a classic that everyone has done at least once in their life. You will very quickly get to the point where you can do a lot of reps. So when you can do like 30 plus reps on all of your sets, you should definitely add some weight to the exercise. Remember what I told you a second ago. You need to progressively overload your abs. That's why it's important to add weight. Sit-ups can be a great starting point for your ab training, but they are not the best sit-up variation in my opinion. That's why I will put them into the A tier. The variation that I think is better than the classic sit-up is the decline sit-up. Just by doing the sit-up on a decline bench, the exercise becomes way more difficult. The decline bench adds in extra range of motion because you don't have to stop when you hit the ground like you would on a normal sit-up. That's why the decline sit-up is simply superior to the normal sit-up. I highly recommend this exercise. Well deserved S tier. And the last sit-up variation on this list is the inverted sit-up. The best part about this exercise is how cool you look while doing it. And the exercise is very challenging just by itself. The problem I have with this exercise, that is a deal breaker, or maybe a neck breaker should I say. When you are upside down and you reach failure, there is always a chance that you might slip off.
Ow, ow.
Even if the chance is very, very small, I'm not taking it. I'm not going to gamble breaking my neck just to do this exercise, when there is so many other ones to choose from. And if you decide to do this exercise anyway, please just be careful, okay? I'm gonna put the inverted sit-up one tier below the normal sit-up, so B tier. Next exercise is the ab roller. I know that a lot of you have tried to do this exercise, while thinking something like, that's so easy, give me that funny wheel you got there, man. While also proceeding to fall on your face immediately. This exercise is hard to do, that's a fact. But once you reach the level where you can do a couple of reps on the ab roller, it feels amazing. Not only the stretch while doing the exercise, but also the feeling that you are finally strong enough to beat this funny wheel. I'm going to put it in the A tier. And speaking of difficult exercises, let's talk about the dragonfly. This is the hardest exercise to do on this entire list. Yeah, it's hard to do, but it's also very effective. You can set this as a goal for yourself, that you will get your abs so strong that you can do the dragonfly. There is no better feeling than the feeling of progression. The dragonfly goes into the A tier. Now let's take a look at some crunch variations. Let's start with the basic crunch first. Oh man, I will tell you straight up, this is the worst exercise on the entire list. The basic crunch is just so wrong on so many levels. It has extremely small range of motion and the stretch is just non-existent. You could be doing this exercise for years and you would still have no abs. Stay away from this exercise. I'm going to put it in the science-based tier. Next crunch variation is the bicycle crunch. This is the exercise that is in every one of those 5-minute ab routines. The bicycle crunch is not really that challenging and there is no way of adding weight to it. Sure, you can train your athleticism or whatever you wanna call it, but you will for sure not train your abs with this. That's why the bicycle crunch is just a useless ab exercise. It also goes into the science-based tier. But now we are moving on to the crunch variations that are really worth your time. One of them is the machine crunch. This exercise is awesome. But as with any machine, it really depends on the quality of the machine and if the machine fits your build. You know that feeling when you get on some machine for the first time and it just feels super off. That's probably a sign that it's not a great fit for you. But if you got a high quality machine that fits you well, then the machine crunch is great. Because you can easily load this exercise and keep on progressing. Machine crunch goes into the S tier. But don't cry if you can't do the machine crunch for some reason. The other crunch variation that is equally as awesome is the cable crunch. This, in my opinion, is the best ab exercise in existence. But you have to use the correct technique. From all the years I spent in the gym, I can tell you that 80% of the people that try to do this exercise always do it wrong. Start with lighter weights to learn the proper technique. This is really, really important. The cable crunch is going into S tier. Everyone knows what this exercise is, but is it really that good for building your six-pack? I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not. It can be useful when you are just getting started and the plank is still challenging for you. But once you get more advanced, the plank is just gonna become way too easy. Do you know the time of the world record for the longest time in a plank position? It's 9.5 hours, dude! Do you have time to do a plank in the gym for that long before you reach failure? Because I certainly don't. The plank goes into the C tier. Next exercise is the mountain climbers. This is another one of those exercises that is in every 5-minute ab routine. I would say that this exercise is a little bit better than the crunch and the bicycle crunch, but that doesn't make it good, it just sucks a little bit less. So I'm gonna put the mountain climbers into the D tier. Let's go back to some good exercises like the hanging knee/leg raise. Both variations are really good, and if you are just starting out, the knee raise is a little bit easier to do. The only issue with this exercise is that your grip might be the limiting factor, but that's mainly an issue for the newer lifters. But don't worry if you can't hold on to the bar for very long, I got a solution for that. The hanging knee/leg raise is going into the S tier. The solution is using the Roman chair. The Roman chair eliminates the grip problem and also makes you more stable, because your back is now supported, which makes the exercise easier to do. So if you still want to hit the low reps, but you are not strong enough for the hanging variation, the Roman chair variation is the solution. The Roman chair knee/leg raise is going into A tier. I still didn't talk about any exercises that target the obliques, so let's do that now. And if you ask, should I train my obliques? My answer to that is, sure. You can if you want, but I don't think it's needed. I prepared 3 exercises that target the obliques. We will go from the worst one to the best one. The worst one of them all is the dumbbell side bend. I really hate this exercise. I don't know why someone even invented this. Stay away from this exercise. There are way better options for you to pick. The dumbbell side bend goes into the D tier. The exercise that is way better than the dumbbell side bend is the Russian twist. The Russian twist is something like the sit-up, but for the obliques, in a sense that it's the most basic variation of the movement. That's why I would recommend it to beginners. You can easily start with just body weight and then add weight later on. The Russian twist is going into the A tier. And the ultimate exercise for the obliques is the cable twist. The cable twist is basically the same movement as the Russian twist, but it's done with cables that provide constant tension throughout the whole twisting movement, which just feels so amazing. If you want to train obliques, I would definitely recommend this exercise. So the cable twist is going into the S tier. This concludes my abs exercise tier list. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And if you are interested in effective and easy to understand training plans that use all the S tier exercises, check out my website, link in the description. And as always, a big thanks to all the supporters on my Patreon. Did you like this video? Then you will for sure like this one too.